January 11th, 1942. If last week the Kalinin, Western and Central fronts went on the offensive and achieved some victories against the Germans, this week it is the Bryansk Front, the one that receives the honor of pushing the invaders back. You see, the Germans, very likely fooled by the lack of activity of last week along the Bryansk Front, organized only a very thin line of defense between Kaluga and Tula. And you know what happens when such thin line of defense clashes with the mass of the Bryansk Front? Well, if you don't know, it's simple. This week, the German 17th and 268th Infantry Divisions are routed from their positions and forced to retreat by the Soviet cavalry. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new weekly episode of War in the East 2, the online game challenge. And I would say, for this brief opening, there are some very interesting news. But before going to this news, let's have a brief overview of the events. And we have the Axis grand success in North Africa. We have the Smolensk partisans, the Soviet partisans. Interesting. So now, so I guess this event is really restricted to the Soviets, because I don't recall seeing this in my Axis campaign. And then we have the Soviet Air Force reorganizes, which is interesting because, yeah, exactly. I will lose all of the mixed air or airborne. I think it's air division SADs. And yeah, I will receive the SHAD, which are the precisely, yeah, exactly, the Sturmovoi or Sturmovik air divisions. Yeah, so it will be challenging to micromanage the Air Force between, let's say, January and May. But yeah, I will do my best. And if I look at the disbandment of the air AOGs, yeah, exactly. So already next week I will lose all these SADs, and yeah, that's pretty bad actually. That's brutal. And when will I receive? Okay, late April. So yeah, I have 15 turns to wait for these SHAD to arrive. But yeah, anyway. Oh yes, the turn summary. Okay, I got nearly 52,000 men losses in terms of manpower, but 240,000 men received on the map, of which 100,000 came from the reserve tier box, and as you can see from this flooding of newly arrived units. Now, the biggest news that I wanted to share with you guys is that here, the Germans have pulled back. The Germans have abandoned the Kalinin salient, which was, let's say, kind of expected given the attacks on the flanks, and yeah. What, however, I was not expecting was to see this. Like, somehow my opponent smartly pre-planned a retreat into these hexes, because he apparently did have some fortified units over here, and yeah, because you cannot have a level 3 fortifications unless your hex is adjacent to an enemy controlled hex, or you have a fortified unit in this hex. So, pretty smart move, I must say, from his side. And yeah, this week I will just have to advance and liberate Kalinin over here, and yeah, reshuffle the troops over here. Interestingly, he did not pull out of the salient here, but it seems that he has actually reinforced it, because now I see 2 infantry divisions in each of these axes. So he really wants to keep this salient for unknown reasons. But let's say, if he looks very strong over here, he looks incredibly weak in this sector here. Yeah, because I forgot to mention, he counterattacked this week, and he pushed back the 2 cavalry divisions here with the 34th Infantry Division, which I think is this one here. Is it this one? Yeah, so I think he just did 2, I think it was this hasty attack or a deliberate attack. heavy snow, blizzard. I think I see it in the commander's report. Is it retreated, deliberate? I think it was a deliberate attack. 2, 3, 2, 1, 4. Ah, yeah, it was a deliberate attack. Okay, so he just took his stationary infantry division here on a level 3 fortification, and then he just forced my 2 cavalry divisions to retreat. The 80th and the 68th are, yeah, exactly these 2 guys over here. Overall, it's not too bad. He also, I think I saw a scouting. Yeah, so here the 87th cavalry division was scouted initially, but then with the intervention of the 4th Panzer Division, it was forced to retreat. And here the 199th and the 423rd Rifle Division actually held against the 3rd Panzer Division, and actually the 3rd Panzer Division now lost 20 AFVs. Let's have a look at briefly at the ground losses, but destroyed during the retreat, or is it correct? Yeah. So, okay, yeah, 2 Panzer II, 2 Panzer IVF, and 16 Panzer IIIJ, so 20, yes, okay, this makes sense. But yeah, so the idea of pushing eastwards with the, this was the, oh my god, sorry, 3rd Shock Army and the troops of the Central Front, let's say, I wouldn't say it did work as much as I expected it to work, but still, it somehow forced my opponent to redeploy here the 4th Panzer. Here he brought the 3rd Panzer, and here the 2nd Motorized, and here he regrouped the 18th Panzer Division. I guess now that this one here is the Gross, not the Grossdeutschland, but the Das Reich, because here I see the Totenkopf and the south. I don't see the Viking and the Leibstandarte, but I think that they are somewhere here, or even here, or in around Kharkiv. Yeah. But anyway, so this week the idea is to push with the Bryansk Front, with, let's say, all of the armies of the Bryansk Front, but the 3rd Shock Army, and the idea is to advance, is to try to break through this line over here. And well, let's see how far I can go, because here I do have plenty of cavalry divisions, and also I have the 1st Guards Motorized Rifle Division. I never tried, as the Soviets, to play around with the Guards, the motorized units in heavy snow, so I guess they will be heavily penalized, but maybe less than the cavalry divisions. I should check this in the editor. I was too lazy to do this before recording this episode, so I apologize for that. Yeah, so I would say that's all for this brief introduction. I'm also reshuffling around my units in the Voronezh front, and I've also pulled back here these 2 because I want to assemble the 25th Rifle Corps as soon as the last missing unit is joining or rejoining on the map. And yeah, these guys will go to the Northern Front in 5 weeks, so I can just reassign them briefly to the Stavka. Exactly. And yeah, so that's the plan for this week. And without spoilering too much, folks, the time has come to jump straight into the episode. Alright, folks, so as I said, I didn't want to spoiler too much, but let's say I've been noticing a pattern in my opponent's way of holding the line. And that, sure, he has plenty of troops, he's mobilizing his panzer reserves, but one thing seems to be emerging. I have identified the 12th and the 8th Panzer Divisions and the 18th Motorized Divisions in the sector of the 18th Army. I've identified some other motorized units in the sector of, I guess, is the 9th Army or the 4th Army, or, I mean, the area around, I was called Borodino, yes, and now I've spotted way more Panzer Divisions. So, even though those attacks are now, I would say, they're not very successful for me, they are successful from an intelligence point of view, because now I am forcing my opponent to reveal his mobile units and commit them into battle. And also, what I've seen between this week and last week is that my opponent is heavily relying on regimented units. And let's say, I said it in the introduction, but I don't want to spoiler it too much. But this week, and I say it again, this week, you will witness what I believe is the deterioration of the German front line, because in the area of the Bryansk Front, yes, like you will see it. I've never seen two, of course, regimented German infantry divisions being forced to retreat so much and so deep into the I would say the Axis control areas as a result of Soviet attacks. I don't want to spoiler it too much for you guys, so I leave you to the rest of the episode. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you all the best, and well, I'll be looking forward to hear your comments to see how you will appreciate the commitment of the Bryansk Front to the ultimate defeat of the Axis forces this winter. But yeah, enough talking now, and enjoy the rest of the episode.